So, our panel is complete. We have, the mind coach, the mind doctor, we have the leadership development, and then we have the team. In fact, there's a lot of coaching going on today. If you leave this place without being coached, you can never be coached again. There's no hope for you after today. It's okay. So very quickly, I will have our first question. I have some questions I have here. And if we also have some questions, I'll be time, depending on the time we have, the floor might be open for more questions. Question number one. We're going to be talking about overcoming imposter syndrome and building confidence. When our previous speaker was answering the question, he said sometimes you just have to walk up to them and ask them, I am supposed to be, I am not there yet, why? And then when he said, I'm like, come, you have to have a lot of audacity to do that. Sometimes, before you even step into the room, you didn't ask, you're already so sorry, I came to greet you. You lie. You didn't come to greet him. You came to ask why you are where you are. So my question to you, Mark, Mrs. Deborah, could you help us with this question? How do people overcome imposter syndrome? Maybe you even first give us like a little rundown. What exactly is imposter syndrome? How does it even start? How do you even know you have imposter syndrome? And then how do you overcome imposter syndrome?
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'll first define what imposter syndrome is. I have a definition here, and it is actually related to your mind, your health, and that is you're having self-doubts of your intellect, of your skills, or your accomplishments among high-achieving individuals. So I'm going to be running that again. Imposter syndrome is when you are having self-doubts, you are doubting yourself, of your intellect. You doubt your intellect, you doubt your skill, you doubt what you know, your accomplishments among high-achieving individuals. And every one of us at one point or the other will all face this imposter syndrome. You feel like you cannot, or you are doubting yourself, you are seeing yourself as a scam. Like, what you're saying about yourself is not true. Whereas in the real sense, it is. It can happen when you are intimidated, when you feel intimidated because you are seeing other persons who have more qualifications, who have more, so to say, the environment is kind of stopping for you, so you feel like, this is not me, I'm trying to post who I'm not. That is imposter syndrome. So, one of the reasons why you should overcome this is, I usually start with, understand why you are feeling that way first. Why are you feeling that way? If you understand the why, you can tackle it. Is it because of the people that are there? Is it because of your achievement? It could be that somebody has thrown some jam at you and then you got at you. It could be because of what somebody has said. And so you should try to understand, why am I feeling this way? If you get to the way, you can know how to tackle it and okay. Then reassure yourself. What do you do? Do you have, that's why we work with evidence. What are your evidences? Evidence is street, they are not just theory. So, like, I'll say this, that's why sometimes we ask for feedback. Let me use that word, yes, feedback from people. For example, if you train people, and then maybe you are trying to market, and you said something about yourself, and then you have to second guess yourself. Am I truly this person? Do I actually give this result to people? Then check yourself, is it true? If those answers are true, then tell imposter syndrome, this is you talking, this is no longer me, So when I started out that research writing training, I have to be sincere with you, there's this kind of fear that came out, like, can I? That was the first time I'm going to be rolling out the training. I've been consulting all along. I've been helping people all along, but train people. So what I took to them was what the experience I got from consulting from people. But it don't look like, am I lying about my abilities? Am I lying about what I could do? I don't look at it. I trained my sister. She's here. I don't know. I trained her when she was doing her undergraduate. And that's the
I was able to shake off that stuff. And she even went ahead to assist other persons. And sometimes when I'm choked up, I'd push some works to her and she does it. So what made me think like I can't train someone else to do that? So, I give them, there's a tagline I used to use that, I will hold your hand. There was a time somebody asked that question that you said you're going to hold our hand, I will hold your hand to know how to do it yourself. So it can be sometimes tricky, but try and sit yourself down and measure, okay, what are your achievements? Did you actually do it? What process did you take to get there? Then what are your that's the achievement now. Then when you put all these things, your testimonies together, it will help you to shake off. Then sometimes too, it could be your mind playing some trick on you. You can be mentally down at that point. So please take some time to rest and get back on your feet, because mental stress too can make you to start having imposter syndrome, that you are not enough. And if it's somebody that said something to you to hurt your feelings, then go back to the drawing board. Who are you? You understand? Who are you? Start reaffirming those things to yourself. Then in no time you shake it off. I think, I don't know if I've answered it.
You have done beyond justice to the question. Something else to her. She said that imposter syndrome is posing to be who you are not. So if you keep feeling like I'm posing to be who I'm not, when will you now be who you are to pose to be who you are? It's to take you some time to understand that, Rema. Don't worry. Brood over it. When you understand, that's fine. So moving on to our next question. And this is going to be navigating career growth and leadership in tech. One time, I was at a conference and someone said that if everybody becomes leader, who will become the follower? You come here today, they say you have to stand up and start leading. You go there tomorrow, they say if you are leading, who will be the follower? And then sometimes you want to start doing something, and then you ask yourself, well, what if I'm meant to just be under and be following someone else? Right? So I want to ask our leadership coach. I mean, he's the president of Leadspiration. They're doing awesome stuff. I've heard of them. I mean, every year they have this amazing conference that if you've not attended before, specifically to me, you need to attend this year's own. You need to attend this year's own, right? So, I mean, I want to ask, right, since you're a leadership coach and you've been able to, churn out graduates from the Inspiration Academy, if I would so put it in that way, at what point do you say, okay, this is the time to follow and this is the time to lead? If you think you were a born leader, there's sometimes that you even try to avoid roles and they just find their way to you. And then you're like, come on, I'm supposed to be on this point. So at what point do you stop running away from leadership? And at what point do you sit back and actually follow? How do you know when you're not an imposter leader? It will take you some time to understand these things. Just take it in. Yes, please. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much for that amazing question. First of all, there's no leadership without followership. You cannot be a leader if you have not followed someone before. So there's nothing like leadership without followership. So if you want to be a very good leader, you must first of all learn how to follow. That's where leadership starts. So I cannot say who will be a follower for life or who will be a leader for life. Before you can even be a good leader, you must follow first, right? So Jesus Christ picked 12. They followed. And he left. They continued. People followed them and took over. That's how leadership is. So you start by following, right? And even when you become a leader, even at following, you are still leading. True. Yes, because that's where you learn how it works. And then when you now, the only good thing is that as you follow effectively, more responsibility comes your way. So that's when people now begin to see you as one big leader there. But it all starts with following, taking responsibility, and then with that, you just grow up in the ladder, and that's how it is. So everybody's supposed to be a follower, everybody's supposed to be a leader. All right, let's take note of that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Everybody's supposed to be a follower, everybody's supposed to be a leader. As you follow, you lead. As you lead, you follow. Amen? Okay, moving on. I'm still going to come back to you because we want to talk about navigating career growth. But before I come back to you, I'd like to ask Ms. Queenette, when you were talking about when you started, you said that you came back and then you asked someone about the field that you sort of had a breeze in, and then you found out that was what the person did for a living. And I feel like that should have been like a breaking point in your career growth. I want to ask about the power of mentorship and networking. Right? Some people will come to this event now because I'm not wearing high heel. They will leave here without collecting my number, but it's okay. You will see me in the future and you will need my number, but you will pay. No, it's okay. I mean, no problem. You know, people look down on me. You see Mr. Gold here today. That is conference, Ajay. That is conference. That I'm trying not to bring out there. But that is conference. You will not see him like this. You might not even be able to, because of protocol, you might not have access to him. People who come to events and they take access for granted. So I want to ask Ma about the power of mentorship and networking, especially in your space, or how it will affect your growth in career in tech as a woman.
All right. When it comes to networking, if you ask anybody, they understand the basis of networking. So you go to a conference and there's a networking session, you exchange contacts. What do you do with those contacts? You just view status. Day in, day out, you're viewing the person's status. Have you tried taking a step further to know what this person is doing? So even at that point where you're networking, you don't just stop at, I'm also guilty of this. Give me your number, I save your contacts, and that is it. You don't even know what the person is doing. That's the basis of networking. And then you want to go into tech, any skill at all, and you're looking out for mentors. You're looking out for senior friends, people that have been doing it for maybe a period of time, and you want to learn from them. One thing I do personally, I'll go to LinkedIn, #data analyst. #data analyst. The top people that are into data analysis, I'll start seeing their profile. I'll start seeing their portfolio, the work that they do, and then I follow them. So I start by following them. I keep looking at their posts and all of that. And if I see something that they know that I need to learn, I'll go to their DM. Hello, my name is Queenette Inde. I don't just say hi, good morning, and then you leave it at that. You're not serious. Some persons are you just say hi, and then the person don't want to say, how are you? I'm fine. How are you doing? Have you eaten? No, you go straight to what you're looking for. I need this A, B, C, D. I need that. And then there are some persons that may not be very prompt in their response, right? But another form of mentorship, it may not be a physical person. You have your YouTube. You can learn whatever you want to learn via YouTube. There are some courses online, but the problem is some of us, we don't have the discipline to start a course and we finish it. That's the problem. But then you have to decide. So those things are at your disposal, but if you don't utilize it, nobody can help you. Okay? So if you want to learn anything, yes, you can look out for mentors, like I mentioned, online, even physically. If you need something, somebody might know someone that knows that thing that you're looking for. So be bold to ask. Like I mentioned, when I started my SPSS journey, I told my director, I didn't even know he knows anything about SPSS. But I had that interest. And I told him, sir, this is what I want to learn. And the reason why I told him was maybe he might know somebody that knows how to do it. And then he now told me that, oh, it's something that I do for a living. I was like, okay, very good. And then I started. So we have those things at our disposal. We have those people. But then we need to make the move. We need to ask questions. They say who they ask questions when they miss road. You need to ask questions. And if you find opportunities, some of us, we don't know how to utilize certain spaces and opportunities. So somebody is opening up her space or his space to you to learn something, and you're taking it for granted. You have a free, maybe a slot to learn something, and then you attend the classes very late, you don't do your assignments. You can't grow that way. So whenever you found a mentor, you found the right network, be intentional about it. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Moving on, we'd like to ask, I'm coming back to the mind coach. I mean, there's a lot she said. I don't want to go into, because if I go into it, you're not serious. She said it. You're not serious. You go there, go late. Continue going late. Let me see how you will grow from there. Anyways, moving on. I want to come back to mental wellness. When she was talking, she said something that sometimes your mind might just be down at the moment. And I promise you, it's not just about tech. In anything that you're going to do breakthrough in, you will definitely go through that down point where you feel almost frustrated. Near frustration, like, this thing is not even programming. Go and program now. Your mind will tell you. You will know. Data analysis, they're doing SPS, go and do it now. Go and do. With time, you will actually understand. So I want to ask Ma, coming back to the mind doctor, about mental wellness in the tech industry. I know when you were talking, you said you're not really in the tech industry, but it's not true. As long as you're using computer to do your work, you're in the tech industry. How do you realize when this one is mental sickness? I am mentally down and I need help. Some people are not even honest enough to themselves to know that they need help, to now begin to seek for the help. Some people, delusion, they say, one time I heard, okay, I don't want to go into that, but they feel like, because of my religion or because of my faith, my mental health cannot be down, or I cannot. You will soon know. Anyways, moving on, I want to ask. I like that you guys are getting the rema after I've already said it. I want to ask, right? At what point do you now know that, okay, this one, it has gone beyond perseverance. This thing is affecting my mental health. And how do you recover? And please, Ma.
2 minutes. They don't say I go talk plenty things. Okay, before I answer that question, I will say this, that as ladies, you should know that we have many problems with mental health because we suffer mood swings a lot, and it's due to our body structure, our biology, the hormones, that's the right word. And some of us suffer, we are on low moods when we are close to our period sometimes. Sometimes it's during our period, sometimes it's after our period, sometimes it's during ovulation, we're on low mood. So I will say that you should study yourself to know when you are on low moods and when you are on high moods. During those times you are on high moods, try to push up your tasks that are difficult to those periods. You'll be able to achieve more than when you're on low moods. Then another thing that can affect I'm sorry, I have to say this thing so that we understand the basis. And that thing is that when you walk without resting, you will definitely break down. For the past 2 months, and this thing is a ripple effect, you will not even know. For close to 2 months now, just 2 weeks out, I sleep late and wake up late. Sometimes 5 hours, 7 hours, 6 hours, and the stress was just piling up. And I broke down mentally. I think last 2 weeks, right? I broke down mentally. Yes. On a more serious note, and I had to shut out. Yes, I have to shut out from everything. I will remind you, remember. And do you know what? Do you know how funny we are as ladies? Sometimes the things that we're paying you are things that have happened years ago. Yes. You remember now? So, one day I was just on low mood. I started crying. He came, he said, what happened? I started explaining when I lost my dad. It's funny. But that was when I was feeling the pain. I was feeling the loss. I was feeling things that happened around that session. The thing is that one thing is understanding what you are going through. Another thing is the ability to express what you are going through and not passing the aggression. There's every possibility that maybe I've even passed the aggression on him those periods. I don't know, Sha. But the thing was that I told him, I say, this is it. This is what I'm feeling. This is what. That's the place of communication. And he just cleaned my tears, hugged me, and that was all. I recovered. What am I saying is that sometimes you think you have no, seriously. Sometimes you think you have overcome some situations, but it is when you are in your low mood that is when the thing will just pile up. Don't just shift things aside. If you are hurting, make sure you heal. If not, when you're on low mood, those things will come back. You start, especially when you start feeling imposter syndrome, you start seeing everything that has been wrong with your life, everything that has gone bad. And as ladies, these things we are prone to it. Let's be factual. So, how do you come out of this? First is take your mental health serious. 30 seconds, no problem. Take your mental health serious. Whenever you feel like you stop having joy in those things you derived joy in, you feel sad, you are just moody, you are just passing aggression, you don't even, some people, they eat too much those periods. You are just eating abnormally. Some people, they can't even eat. You are just crying, and you don't even know why you are crying. Those periods, just know that you need help. First thing is communicate. There are mental health disorders is in levels, but I believe your own has not reached that level that they will need to admit you. So first is reach out to someone that understands you, someone that will not try to make you feel like, why are you crying now? You understand? Somebody that will empathize with you. We know those people now. You know the person that will talk to you and say, is that why you are crying? This small thing. No, don't reach out to such people. Reach out to people that will empathize with you, that will understand what you are feeling, that will validate your feeling at those points in time. Then you can decide to stop working for that period till you recuperate. So, but if you now pass, be careful. Please visit hospital. There are medications for these things.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that awesome session. I want to come back to Mr. Gold David now, and I'm still picking up from where she stopped. So from the leadership point of view, or let's say from the organizational point of view, how would you say a female staff, or let me not even say female, a staff should approach, because now she's saying take a break from work, but not all, you can't always take a break from work. Sometimes, it's only freelancers that literally will say have all their time to decide what they want to do when they want to do it. So would you say that they should approach their leaders in those times? I know she said communicate, but I won't communicate and this communicate are two different communicates.
When I say take a break from work, sometimes it's not actually taking a break, it's reducing your task.
Okay.
Turning down responsibilities, you understand? Those extra ones that are not your own call, I'm sorry I have to do response. So that you have less things to add.
Do you still want to add something?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so basically she has said it. How do you manage such times where you are probably under pressure or stressed, right? One of the things I do most times is, or I'm learning to do, because I like work a lot. Sometimes I will just look crazy because of work. So your weekends, just shut it down. Okay, that's why you have weekends. Just shut it down. Nothing. No work, no nothing. Your house, or go out, just take yourself out or something. Just that weekend, maximize it. Because if you don't, you will still just be doing haphazard works everywhere. So you need to maximize your weekends. And then another thing you should do is learn to delegate some tasks. So let's say you're working in an office environment, and then you have teammates, colleagues. So at points where you cannot really deliver much, you don't have to necessarily just leave work or even take excuse. You can discuss with your colleagues, right, and see what you can delegate out. And then sometimes you can even delegate, if it's not something that is confidential, you can even delegate outside, right, to freelancers or something that can help you do those stuff. So that you can get yourself back. So that's it. That's basically it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I can't put hands together for him. We don't have so much time, and we've come to the end of the panel session. But before I let our speakers go, or before we go into the next session, we've been talking about inclusion. So I'm going to give them 1 minute each, but 30 seconds to somebody that will still take 3 minutes, but okay. I'm going to give 1 minute each to each of our speakers, and I want them to, give, if it was to be one sentence to take out from this place on inclusion as a woman, because sometimes we are not actually being excluded by the men, we are excluding ourselves. We already just come into the room and then you're already seeing 10 men. You're already just feeling less of yourself. Nobody have told you anything. No. They did not tell you don't know. But just because you're already excluding yourself. So sometimes the war is not even against the men. It's against women. Some other times, it is women against women. So you enter the room and then as you entered, you were the only woman and then you enjoy the attention, and because of that, you don't want another woman to come in and share. I mean, this is reality, right? So I want you guys to give us closing, take homes from about inclusion and how we can be intentional about, if they did not include me, I will create the room and include myself. Right? Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, so I don't have much time. So basically, the word is a big word. I learned something from one of my bosses. It's basically, he likes saying the fact that there's enough space for everyone to succeed. There's no limitations. There's nobody telling you can't do this, you can't do that. In fact, it's only when you tell yourself, that's when you actually can limit yourself. If someone tells you something and you don't take it serious because it's not you, right? You can never have that limitation. But when you put it on yourself, then nobody can help you. You're the one that can help yourself. So please, the world is big enough for everyone to excel. There's no telling you, and this place is not for you, that place is not for you. It's a lie. It's you that decide that by yourself. So please, anywhere you see yourself, that vision you have, pursue it. Right? Just go ahead, and in the end, you will succeed. All right? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, one thing I want to lay emphasis on, just like I mentioned in my session, is that you need to believe that you are meant to be on the table. They say, what do women bring to the table? You are meant to sit on that table, not just bring in something. You're meant to make policies, to create policies around whatever you have conceived in your heart. So have that belief that there is no skill that was written, or maybe a constitution that says this particular skill is only for guys. Is there anyone? So believe, you need to have that belief, because if you don't know what you can do, or if you don't have that belief in your heart, anybody can tell you anything and you're going to accept it. So you need to have that belief that you can sit on that table. You have everything. You have the possibility, you have the capacity to learn any skill, be it coding, programming, and name it. So once you've had that belief, and then look for a part where you want to make your voice to be heard. You can choose one skill, maybe data analysis, programming, coding, whichever one. Choose one and then decide to amplify your voice in that skill. So when you do that, you see that other persons, they'll start building that confidence to also go into it, because you are creating a part. So inclusion is not just about men giving you the opportunity. You need to create that opportunity for yourself. Thank you.
I want to stick to a second.
Yeah.
No, not really a second, but less than a minute. So I would say this, that as females, possibility is whatever would define it to be. And impossibility is whatsoever would define it to be. So define your impossibility and possibility by yourself.
I am shocked. Can you put your hands together for her? As a woman, possibility is whatever you define it to be, and impossibility is whatever you define it to be. So what do they say? The ball is in your what? It's in your front page. Kick it how you want. And as you do that, the sky will be your starting point. Thank you very much. Thank you.